This is the main event being brought to you by Puerto Rico's best boxing promotions in association with Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Este combate, pactado a 12 asaltos por el Campeonato Mundial Mini Mosca de la OMB. This bout, 12 rounds for the WBO Light Flyweight Championship of the World. Presidente de la OMB, President of the WBO, Francisco Paco Valcarce. Supervisora, Supervisor, Jacinth Bryan. Los jueces de este combate son, the judges scoring this bout are Carlos Colón, el doctor Rubén García y Julie Letterman. El referee, Luis Pavón. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, desde San Juan, Puerto Rico, veremos quién es el más macho. Presentando a la esquina azul, el retador. Introducing the blue corner, the challenger. Vestido de blanco con vivos rojos y azules. He steps into the ring wearing white trunks with red and blue trim. Su peso oficial, 107 libras y un cuarto. His official weight, 107 1/4 pounds. Su récord profesional, 25 victorias con 3 derrotas, un empate y 19 de sus victorias por la vía del knockout. His professional record, 25 victories, along with 3 losses, 1 draw, and 19 of his victories coming by way of knockout. De Cebu, las Filipinas, Rodel Mayol. Y en la esquina opuesta, en the opposite corner, vestido de color dorado con el tricolor boricua de rojo, azul y blanco. He steps into the ring wearing gold trunks, trimmed in the colors of Puerto Rico, red, white, and blue. Su peso oficial, 107 libras y media. His official weight, 107 1/2 pounds. Entra al cuadrilátero con un récord invicto de 32 victorias, un empate y 6 de sus victorias por la vía del knockout. He enters the ring with an undefeated record of 32 victories, 1 draw, and 6 of his victories coming by way of knockout. El campeón mundial peso mini mosca de la OMB, the WBO Light Flyweight Champion of the World, de Guaynabo, Puerto Rico, el Iron Boy, Ivan Calderon.
All right, so referee Luis Pabon of Puerto Rico has to get this ring cleared out. Freddie Roach, we mentioned, did a lot to do with the training of Mayol, but he's not here.
He's got
the training of Mayol, but he's not here.
He's got a full team, though. Jesse Arevalo, Jeremiah Quijano, Rene Espiroto, and of course his manager, Prima Encarnacion.
All right, so we're set to go with the main event of the evening from the Coliseo de Puerto Rico in San Juan. The Colonel Bob Sheridan here with Benny Ricardo, our principals, defending his WBO Light Flyweight Championship of the World at 108 pounds. Ivan Iron Boy Calderon in his 17th title defense, taking on the #1 ranked Rodel Mayol. And this is a rematch, as you know, from the technical draw that took place in the brawl up in Madison Square Garden in New York about last June. So these guys are ready to go. Both in magnificent condition. They had about 2,000 or 3,000 people for the weigh-in yesterday just to get their eyes on this guy Calderon. Here we go. Calderon, the southpaw, with the hands held high, starts with a jab, as does Mayol. Remember, Mayol is known for being a powerful puncher, and Calderon has the guard against that. He felt some of the power in their first fight.
Well, Mayol says he's going to get there first. He says he's going to start out very, very fast and try to push back Ivan Calderon. The part of Calderon, his plan is going to be be very elusive, get back to being that slick fighter, kind of like Pernell Whitaker, getting down low and getting out of the way.
Well, the first time I heard the expression "hit and don't get hit" was years ago from the great trainer Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard, amongst other great champions. Hit and don't get hit, hit and don't get hit. And that's what Calderon wants to do. He doesn't want to really exchange the heavy blows on the inside, at least early with this guy. He wants to box him and try to box him. Nobody has taken advantage yet. 2 wild shots, and Benny said he's going to try and make himself smaller. Remember, he's only 5 feet tall, and when he bends over, it's a difficult target for Mayol. Look at the windmill sort of punches already that Mayol has missed here in round number 1. That's the defense of Calderon.
And the part of Mayol, what he did was looked at those tapes against Cáceres when Ivan Calderon fought him and said, that's the kind of fight I need to make against him. But I really feel that if I hit him with my good shot, he's not going to be able to take it. So we'll see if that plays itself out on Rodel Calderon. Again, he's going to be the slick one.
Well, you talk about the slickness of Calderon, and he is slick, but Mayol is mighty slick himself. He's got a little bit of reach advantage, and he's trying to use that. And so far, Calderon's jab has been short. He was wild with the left hand, and then wild with the right hand, and then he had to hang on. And Luis Pabon, the very excellent referee here, has to separate the two.
And look, you get to see right there, typical Calderon. Hit and get out, hit and get out.
Hit and grab in this case. I mean, 2 minutes have gone. Who's won this round? Very difficult to score this so far, as was the first fight. Carlos Colon of Puerto Rico, Dr. Ruben Garcia of Texas, and Julie Letterman of New York. All excellent judges are scoring this, and it takes 100% concentration when you can fight as close as this. Man, I can't separate the two. Mayol attacks and hangs on. Calderon attacks and hangs on.
2 cuts again for Ivan Calderon. So,
did he get a shot?
Yeah, he got a shot. He got a shot. It was the right hand.
Well, and that's the only punch that's really landed in this round.
Because up to now, the referees had more cleaner shots separating them. And these boxing fans in Puerto Rico, they understand boxing. They know boxing. They know how slick these guys are.
Very quick counter punch by Calderon. So I don't know if Mayol has actually landed anything yet, but based on the one punch, perhaps Calderon gets that one 10-9. Because the judges aren't going to score it even. So round number 1 is in the books, and this is going to be a boxing match. And again, hopefully we won't see a clash of heads, but they're going to come together, I'm sure, before this is over, because it's not going to stay a boxing match like this. At some stage, and Calderon will probably dictate that, at some stage this will turn into a war, even if it's just a flurry of 15 or 20 seconds.
And then you see the guy directly in front of Mayol is Jesse Arevalo, giving him instructions right there.
This guy's not even breathing heavy.
No, these guys can go 25 rounds like this. Here's some of the action in round number 1. Calderon trying to stay out of, there's that good left hand. Right down the middle right there by Ivan Calderon. One of the few clean punches in that first round. Both of these guys very quick.
So if you're judging the first round, I mean, with one clean punch, would that be the difference in it? This is round 2. We're at the Coliseum of Puerto Rico in San Juan. Bob Sheridan here with Benny Ricardo. Glad that you could be with us, watching around the world, across the nation of America on pay-per-view. Glad that you're with us.
Look at that right there, 5 feet tall. Calderon making himself 3'6".
He's trying to. You mentioned Pernell Whitaker. Nobody was better at it than he was, getting way down there like that. Pernell would actually go down so low sometimes you think his rear end would almost touch the canvas, and if anything but the bottom of your shoes touches the canvas, it's a knockdown. So Pernell was lucky that never happened to him, but that's a sense of really strong legs and thighs to be able to do that.
Also a southpaw too.
Yeah.
Mayol recognized ahead of time how tough it was going to be to hit Calderon, so he was ready to go the distance.
I don't know what Pabon was telling him there. He had a little bit of a slip on the logo in the middle of the ring.
He hit him in the thigh.
Yeah.
That's really going low.
But he did slip in the middle of that. Round number 2. If you like real good boxing, you're seeing 2 very, very good boxers. The heads came together that time, and Luis Pabon of Puerto Rico saying, watch yourself, watch those heads.
And again, folks, watch the feet right there. Watch the feet. It's very, very important part of Calderon to stay outside the left foot of Mayol, and the same thing for Mayol. So it's going to be a battle of the position of the feet to get the good punching angle.
And the heads came together again for the second time in this round. And this is what I feared coming into this fight, that, you know, that something could happen with those clash of heads again. And some of the problem, Benny, and then the heads came together that time again. And Mayol's like complaining. Neither one of the guys means for this to happen. When the front feet get caught up, if Mayol steps on his foot and Calderon is pulling back, it actually, Mayol's body falls forward and the heads come together. Mayol is the shorter guy. He lifts his head up when he comes in, the heads come together. And of course, Mayol will tuck his head when he comes forward.
And he's got to come forward. Again, being that he's so small and he's got the reach advantage. But that's where I think Calderon has an advantage there. He's able to cock so much quicker than Mayol is with those long arms. That's a 6-inch reach advantage. No, I'm sorry, an inch and a half.
Yeah, but it looks like it because the way he has that shoulder stepped in there, and of course it's so obvious the difference in height that it looks like 6 inches.
Yeah, it seems a lot more, especially with the wider shoulders too.
Mayol continues to force the action, but this is the way Calderon fights. He takes his shot.
10 seconds.
Mayol celebrating because he just grazed one shot.
Well, he's missing a lot of shots. Boy, these are tough rounds to score.
I'm going to go with Calderon again. I've given him the first 2 rounds.
So have I. So have I.
And again, you know, you go to effective ring generalship, the things that Calderon is doing, an excellent defensive position, very hard to hit, yet is still throwing enough punches, I think, to be able to go ahead and win the rounds. On the part of Mayol, it's like you can't hit something you can't see. And that's what it's boiled down right here, the tremendous quickness of Calderon.
You know, Benny, I want to point something out to the viewing audience, because we had a fight in Houston a short time ago where there was a lot of criticism because one judge had it one way and another judge had it another way by 3 or 4 rounds. And that can happen. I mean, I go to the conventions, I go and I watch, anybody can score the clear 10-9 round. Anybody at home or here. But when you get that close, first 2 rounds of this fight have been close as we watch the replay here.
Here's the head clash. Right there.
Yeah,
great job by camera people.
Great job, Director Victor Miguel. Great job in the staff getting that for us, our replay guys. But anyway, continuing on with that thought as we go to the 3rd round, 40% of professional judges disagree in the close 10-9 round. Professional judges disagree in the close 10-9 round. Therefore, you can have it one way or the other. And as I told the fighters, you know, this thing's going to be close. It's your responsibility to make that an easy 10-9 round so that, you know, if you leave it in the judge's hands, it's in the judge's hands.
Absolutely.
And you can't blame them when it's over. And that needs to be explained to the audience that, you know, in a fight like this where these rounds are close, it can be controversial, and it's not controversial. It's just the way, you know, different judges see a different round, and they are at different angles. And you know something, 95, 96, 97% of the time the judges get it right anyway.
Absolutely. And you see constantly Mayol stalking Calderon, trying to find the range, but you could just see how tough it is. Great anticipation on the part of Calderon. That's probably his greatest trait, that great anticipation of seeing that punch coming.
Well, Mayol is, finally he landed a right hand in there, but you know, the scoring too for the judges is on effective aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And while Mayol is very aggressive, you know, look at the amount of times he misses. There's 3 since I started that sentence.
And folks, that takes a lot of energy out of a fighter to miss cleanly that way.
You know, he's thrown the last 6 or 7 punches he hasn't landed. So that's, you know, it's fine to be aggressive. Then 7, 8, 9, so, and then he's tied up. So there he threw 9 punches and nothing landed. That's Calderon's defense. He finally got him to the body. And on the inside, Cabon warns me, he was hanging on. And that goes down to the old thing, protect yourself at all times.
That's the instructions. And you know, if it's there, take a shot at it.
Look at Calderon,
oh, that's
brilliant
slick.
defense.
And you talk about strong legs, that takes some real strong legs to be able to do that.
You know, and this is why some people compare this guy with Finito Lopez. I think offensively Lopez, you know, showed a little bit more than Calderon, but defensively it's hard to see anybody any better than him.
And a low shot.
Is he wanting
Is he going to warn it?
There wasn't a warning.
No, there was no warning, no.
He finally loaded up the left hand, which is a power shot for the southpaw, but it fell a little bit short. Then it short first right hand on the inside. And Calderon, if he's winning these rounds in the judges' scorecard, it's only by a punch or two because the other guy just can't land anything.
But then look at the expression right now. You look at the expression on the face of Mayol. He looks like a frustrated fighter right now.
He is frustrated. You have to be when you throw that many punches and you can't land.
And he's tightening up, too. He's tightening up and getting very, very frustrated.
Well, he got a jab through that time, and finally he landed a punch.
Right down the pipe went Calderon.
But it was the left hand. Usually the right-handed fighter, you know, fighting the southpaw wants to throw the right hand down the middle, but he finally got his left through. I don't know. I can't give that to Mayol.
I'm giving it to Calderon also.
And I'm looking for a reason to give it to him. Well, we got 3 in the books. We think that Calderon has won all 3 of the first rounds, but they're very, very close rounds. And in the case of at least one of the rounds, there was only one punch that we could even score.
There you see in the corner right there, Jose Sanchez, who's been with Ivan Calderon for 16 years, all the way to the amateur. Also in that ring with him, Felix Pagan Pintor. 60 world championship fights he's now working.
But Jose Sanchez has worked with all of the top Puerto Rican champions. We mentioned some of them like Juan Laporte, Edwin Rosario, and Wilfredo Gomez and Wilfred Benitez.
And there you see, look at the footwork, stepping on each other, trying to come inside. There's the footwork. There it is, stepping on it right there. That's one of the difficulties. And again, great job right there by camera people to show you that, how hard it is to fight between a southpaw and a right-handed fighter, and the constant battle between the feet to get outside of the other opponent's feet.
Our producer tonight is Sammy Colazzo, and our coordinating producer is Nelson Swegler, and everybody in that truck doing a great job catching these things that Benny and I are talking about to show you folks watching at home just what's going on in this fight. Mayol finally lands a couple of shots, and he's happy about that. Gets his right hand through to the southpaw.
See how tough it is to land combinations at Calderon, because you extend yourself to land that one, and then he's not there anymore.
You don't land combinations with this guy.
But a question now here, though, Colonel. He's 34 years of age. When does all of a sudden the reflexes start slowing down?
Well, you know, you measure the age of a prize fighter not so much chronologically as you do by how many difficult fights. And when you don't get hit, you don't age.
Well, he was very defensive about his age. He said, I'm actually 24.
That's what he said to us. So he considers himself at least 10 years younger. And you know something? While he's not 24, he's not a 34-year-old boxer either, because he just doesn't get hit that much.
But then there's another thing called experience, and that's a great thing about him right now. He's there. He knows all about it, you know, that anticipation, and is able to go ahead and pick apart the things his opponent is doing and turn it to his favor.
Calderon in the gold, Mayol in the white, the red and blue trim. Frustrated by the fact he can't catch up with Calderon. On very few occasions, he comes in there, Calderon knows exactly how to defend himself. He bends at the waist, lets the right hand come up over his shoulder.
Well, that's when you know these fighters are small, when the referee can actually cover both of them from certain angles.
It's a very technical fight to this point. That's why you don't hear the crowd going bonkers here in Puerto Rico, because they're a knowledgeable crowd. And while, you know, ordinarily if you see a technical fight like this in other places, you might hear a little hissing and booing. But they know how technical Calderon is, and they're very entertained by it because they're educated boxing fans.
Well, it's like watching a mongoose and a cobra. The mongoose being right there. Ivan Calderon, the cobra, waiting to strike Rodel Mayol. Jab.
You know, I talked about the great defense of Calderon. Another guy who's fighting in another couple of weeks, actually next week, Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he's one of the great defensive fighters that I've ever seen, too. And you put Calderon on that same page as you talked about, you know, a terrific fighter here.
And two guys also that never let themselves get out of shape. You
know what? Mayol might have got this round. If there's any round that you would give him, what do you think?
No.
You're still. I'm going to give Mayol that round because I don't know if Calderon did enough.
I didn't think he missed as much as he did in the previous round, but I just don't think he's doing anything. Look at at Calderon. He's totally
This was coming in.
and they're trying to get him to throw combinations. And again, you can't throw combinations on a guy you can't see.
You gotta look right down here. Aim at his belt line and shit, okay? Aim right there because he's in a dip.
I'll put a question mark by the 4th round. I'm just trying to look for something that he's done a little bit more than the other rounds that you could give him a round along the way here.
Have to be quick on that one, okay?
Well, Freddie Rhodes gets his fighters in great shape, so we know Mayol is in great shape for this fight.
You can either here or fucking right
Tremendous
back here,
physical
okay?
condition.
And you can step back a little bit and fucking catch that motherfucker right
It's
there,
interesting
right?
on the part of the Mayol, though. He comes to the United States. He fights twice. He fights against Ulises Solini, Adrian Hernandez. Some of the action right here. There's a good left hand, so maybe he should have gotten that round.
Well, because it was, it was one hard blow that landed it. I mean, if you're going to give Calderon the first round because he landed one blow, you got to reward Mayol, at least in my opinion. But, that's what makes this fight very, very tough to judge. Calderon decked out in the gold trunks. Mayol from the Philippines in the white has come here into Calderon's backyard to try and lift this title.
Mayol stepping on that gas, trying to get there first like his plan was at the beginning of the fight.
Heads came together again, and luckily it's not around the eyes that the heads are coming together. It's up in the, in the temporal area and in the skull that the heads seem to be bouncing off each other. Nobody's got it around the eyes yet.
I got to see that fight against Cáceres, and it was amazing how much bigger Cáceres looked than Calderon. They all look so much bigger than him.
Well, he's 5 feet tall.
Pascualito Perez, another great flyweight, also 5 feet tall.
Slick and man, look at this step. He steps to his left and back to his right. And again, is there a frustration? Slick and man, look at this step. He steps to his left and back to his right. And again, is there a frustrating factor for Mayol, who's really trying to hustle? But Calderon told us this was the way he was going to fight this. He wasn't going to be
his old style.
He wasn't going to be drawn in like he was in Madison Square Garden. And don't forget, at this stage of the fight in Madison Square Garden, it was a draw.
Yeah. And that's what I told him. That's what I asked him in the locker room coming out. We're going to see that old Ivan Calderon from the standpoint of being that slick guy, that very elusive guy, the guy that just knows how to win and not take punishment.
Now, that's the professionalism. He got the left hand through finally. But, there's 2 minutes and 20 seconds gone before a serious punch was landed in that round with all the defensive tactics of Calderon.
And you see Mayol tapping that foot before he comes in. He taps the left foot.
He's just trying to be as aggressive as he could possibly be to do something with this guy, and it's just impossible. And again, the round is very close because there's only been like one punch that really landed.
Look at the mouth of Mayol, too, how wide open it is now.
He flails with the left hand, and that's frustration because he's a better boxer than that. Uppercut on the inside by Calderon. This guy gets a push, definitely a slip, and Luis Pabon right on top of it. Pabon says to Mayol, don't push him off. But, I don't mind that by Mayol. He's got to do something to try and get this guy off his fight plan.
Because right now, he's been absolutely like a professor right now, Ivan Calderon.
Well, they called Azuma Nelson the professor, and he wasn't any better technically than this guy. And he was a great champ. Bell ends. I don't know. I got to give it a Calderon because I didn't see Mayol land anything.
And you see Calderon though stepping on. Mayol stepping on that left foot, stomping on you can hear it on the boards of the ring here, and it's almost like Calderon is hearing that and then making his move.
Yeah, because he can't see it like we can. He's in too tight. We're coming up to the 6th round in the Coliseum of Puerto Rico in San Juan. Well, you've had the opportunity to see 3 knockouts tonight. Now you're seeing a very technical fight. Juan Mercedes, 6-round TKO over Bobby DeLuz in a super flyweight battle. Our second fight, Carlos Negron in a 1st-round knockout over Larry Carter. big, tall guy. And look at this replay here. There's your slip.
That was the best offensive move so far by Mayol with the push, though.
And then Ramon Martinez won in a 9th round knockout over Feder Viloria to retain his WBO Super Featherweight Championship at 130 pounds. This is round 6, again scheduled for 12. Calderon slightly out in front in the fight in that he's slightly winning each round, and now Mayol seems to have changed his game plan a little bit, trying to catch up with this guy more.
And he's trying to throw combinations, because that's what he's trying to do. Try to get a little bit tighter and throw combinations. But you can see, look at it in his eyes. He wants to go in, but there's nothing there.
But is it Mayol that's changed, or is it Calderon has decided to engage a little bit more? Maybe to show the judges, yeah, I am winning these rounds, to make it convincing. Because again, in a couple of rounds anyway, there's only 1 or 2 punches that separate these two guys. Look at the look at this guy's face. I mean, this is his office. This is where he likes to be. I'm talking about Calderon.
And boy, I tell you what, he is a businessman. Have you ever heard a fighter actually say to you 3% is what the WBO is going to take from me? So therefore, I don't want to fight for all those belts at one time and lose 12%.
Yeah, he wants to win all the titles, but he said after he wins them all, he'll just take one of them.
Keep one.
It's the first time in all these years, and this is, by the way, my 873rd world title fight, so I've seen a few of them come and go. This Calderon trying to do something, change up a little bit as Mayol comes in. But Mayol, again, the lack of landing punches went past the minute and 30 mark here in the 6th round.
Trying to land now combinations, Calderon.
I don't know, hey, Benny, do you change up and just go wild? You know, just go, what do they say, go postal for around and try and catch this guy? Or he's just,
you have to, because you know, I mean, the guy's got 6 knockouts in 33 professional fights. So you got to say, hey, I got to take my chances, and you got to go in there. Mayol is just waiting.
The problem is, if you're a disciplined fighter like Mayol is, if you just go street for a second and try to catch up with him, if you can't land them when you're fighting technically, how are you going to land them if you start throwing wild shots? Or is the point just try to get lucky and do something to change the pace of the way this fight's going?
Yeah, because if you go here, it's going to be Calderon all the way. But of course,
there's 30 seconds left in this round, and there's not a hell of a lot of difference in this, you know, in what's going on, except, you know, Mayol continues to come forward, Calderon continues to counter him. You know, I'm not at will either.
No. But again, Mayol wants, look at him, he's fidgeting, he's got those feet moving, he wants to go in right there, but there's nothing to hit.
Well, if Calderon wanted to hit and don't get hit, he's done an excellent job of it, and he's executed his fight plan. There he was off balance, he gets himself right under control immediately. Good exchange right at the bell.
You know, these are the kind of things you want to teach a boxer to be able to do. The things that Ivan Calderon does, the little things, the turning on the shoulder and things like that, as far as from a defensive standpoint. Offensively, of course, he doesn't sit down enough on those particular punches to be the knockout guy that he's, you know, that he could be also. But he's a little guy, Colonel.
But you know, with all these title defenses and all the success, and don't forget the guy is undefeated, and he's in his 34th professional fight at age 34. I mean, he's capturing the eye of a lot of people that are giving him decisions. Because again, he's not a heavy puncher, and the knockouts he has had have been accumulation of punches.
But you know, he's not overly protective of that unbeaten mark either. He says, I'll go fight anybody anywhere.
Yeah, he didn't care about that. Very intelligent fighter and a real gentleman, as is Rodel Mayol. All right, here we go. This is the 7th round. Colonel Bob Sheridan with Benny Ricardo. We're enjoying the technical fight, and I hope in that you've seen 3 knockouts tonight that you can appreciate the technical fight that we're watching. The great defense of Ivan Calderon. Is those heads come together again, Benny? By their reaction?
They did, but Calderon right there countering beautifully.
Still, nobody has been down. Nobody has really been hit hard enough to be shaken. And the heads have come together on at least, what, 6, 8 different times?
Absolutely.
They probably come together more than that, but the referee has acknowledged about 6 or 8. But to this point, no cut. And I hope we don't have that situation, as I said right from the very top of the show. I just hope that this really, really excellent technical fight that we're having the opportunity to witness doesn't get destroyed by a headbutt, and they have to end it. I just want to see if Mayol can catch up with this guy at some point. And you see a little bit of puffiness below the right eye of Mayol, so Calderon is getting through there with his left hand.
Yeah, that left hander repeatedly, what he does is he kind of wastes it out and then comes over the top.
But his positioning is perfect, too. He stays outside this guy taller and got a reach advantage. Just finally, Mayol gets the right hand through.
And he timed out that just right because Mayol threw that right hand right when Calderon was going to come in.
You're not going to fight a full fight and not get hit at all. But look at that. After he hit him, he has to have missed at least 7 punches since then. But if each round is this close, then Calderon has got to land a few punches here too. He catches him with a looping right hand, which is his jabbing hand. He throws it as a straight jab, a looping right sometimes. Waltzes him on the inside. Almost 2 minutes gone here in the 7th round.
Great legs by Calderon, though. The position in those legs, moving at just that precise time. Short little choppy step, but he's always in position to throw. Choppy step, but he's always in position to throw.
There's his looping left hand, which doesn't land, falls short on Mayol. You know, we're talking about the frustration for Mayol. I mean, he's fighting a pretty damn good defensive fight, too, because Calderon, while he appears a little bit quicker at the hands, Mayol hasn't been hit that many times either.
No, they've been grazing shots.
And the heads come together hard that time. Now time is called. And I don't see any blood.
I think the blood is on...
and the
Calderon.
doctor has to come in, so Calderon is cut.
And again, that's that area above the hairline. Just to the left of that is where the cut was in the first fight.
Like I said, I know this was going to happen and just hoped it wouldn't.
And that's where, and that's a deep, deep cut.
Oh, my God. I didn't think
Look
it was.
how deep it is.
That's right next to where it was before, isn't it?
Reopen that cut, and it's a very deep cut.
You know, from one of the indications of one of the doctors over there, he's going like, I don't know. If this fight ends right now on my score sheet, I got Calderon winning, and it would go to the score sheets. But I don't want to see this fight end this way.
I don't either. You know, that's the way it would happen against Casares.
That's it. It looks like he stopped the fight. And by rule, it goes to the scorecards. And we asked Julie Letterman, is the 7th round scored?
Julie,
is the 7th round scored? In the 7th round, we get the indication is scored. So, you know, I think we got to give that one to. Mayol was having a pretty good round.
I gave it to Mayol.
Yeah, give it to Mayol that round. So I've got it 68-65 on my score sheet. But again, with these close rounds, and again, the judges are Carlos Colon of Puerto Rico, Dr. Ruben Garcia of Texas, and Julie Letterman of New York, all very experienced judges. Look at the replay now, Benny. Let's see this.
Yeah. Accidental headbutt. And I've got it 69-64 for Calderon.
And I got it 68-65. It's academic anyway. It's not academic when it comes to how the judges might have scored it. You and I see it the same way. But again, very close rounds. Look at this replay. There's the heads come together. And again, you know, the short guy and the tall guy, it was bound to happen. And unfortunately, you know, it happened in the 4th round of their first fight. So again, it'll be a technical decision, but I don't think it's going to be a draw this time. It's kind of anticlimactic because I don't know where you're watching across the United States and pay-per-view around the world, but this is one of the best technical fights you could see. The frustration of Mayol, the brilliance of the defense of Ivan Calderon. It was just terrific to watch from my point of view, and I hope that we could express to you as enjoyable it was for us. And again, before Benny gets in there, we want to thank our director, Victor Barquet, and our producer, Sammy Palazzo, and our coordinating producer, Nelson Swagler, and Lee Bates of Fight News, and Bobby Traeger for all their help. Doug Jacobs for the integrated sports media handling the distribution, and of course our promoters, Ivan and Peter Rivera from Puerto Rico's best boxing promotions. One and all, a great job. Benny's going to get in there. First off, we got to get the decision rendered. So let's make this all official by going to Lupe Contreras.
Damas y caballeros, después de consultar con el médico de turno, el referee Luis Pavón, para la contienda por causa de un choque de cabezas accidental. Y de acuerdo con las reglas de la comisión y la OMB, consultamos a las tarjetas de los jueces para determinar un ganador. Ladies and gentlemen, after consulting with the ringside physician, referee Luis Pavón calls a halt to this bout due to an accidental clash of heads. And in accordance with the rules of the commission and the WBO, we go to the scorecards to determine a winner. La juez Letterman anotó 68-65 para Calderon. Judge Letterman scores it 68-65 for Calderon. El juez Colón, 68-65 para Mayol. Judge Colón scores it 68-65 for Mayol. Y el juez García anotó 68-65. Judge García scores it 68-65. For the winner, by way of technical decision, para el ganador por decisión técnica, el Iron Boy, Ivan Calderon.
So Ivan Calderon gets the decision, and two judges, Dr. Ruben Garcia and Julie Letterman. Ivan Iron Boy Calderon in his 17th title defense, taking on the #1 ranked Rodel Mayol. And this is a rematch, as you know, from that technical draw that took place in the brawl up in Madison Square Garden in New York about last June. So these guys are ready to go. Both in magnificent condition. They had about 2,000 or 3,000 people for the weigh-in yesterday just to get their eyes on this guy Calderon. Here we go. Calderon, the southpaw, with the hands held high, starts with a jab, as does Mayol. Remember, Mayol is known for being a powerful puncher, and Calderon has the guard against that. He felt some of the power in their first fight.
Well, Mayol says he's going to get there first. He says he's going to start out very, very fast and try to push back Ivan Calderon. The part of Calderon, his plan is going to be to be very elusive, get back to being that slick fighter, kind of like Pernell Whitaker, getting down low and getting out of the way.
Well, the first time I heard the expression "hit and don't get hit" was years ago from the great trainer Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard, amongst other great champions. Hit and don't get hit, hit and don't get hit. And that's what Calderon wants to do. He doesn't want to really exchange the heavy blows on the inside, at least early with this guy. He wants to box him and try to box him. Nobody has taken advantage yet. Two wild shots, and Benny's.
This is the main event being brought to you by Puerto Rico's best boxing promotions in association with Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Este combate, pactado a 12 asaltos por el Campeonato Mundial Mini Mosca de la OMB. This bout, 12 rounds for the WBO Light Flyweight Championship of the World. Presidente de la OMB, President of the WBO, Francisco Paco Valcarce. Supervisora, Supervisor, Jacinth Bryan. Los jueces de este combate son, the judges scoring this bout are Carlos Colón, el doctor Rubén García y Julie Letterman. El referee, Luis Pavón. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, desde San Juan, Puerto Rico, veremos quién es el más macho. Presentando a la esquina azul, el retador. Introducing the blue corner, the challenger. Vestido de blanco con vivos rojos y azules. He steps into the ring wearing white trunks with red and blue trim. Su peso oficial, 107 libras y un cuarto. His official weight, 107 1/4 pounds. Su récord profesional, 25 victorias con 3 derrotas, un empate y 19 de sus victorias por la vía del knockout. His professional record, 25 victories, along with 3 losses, 1 draw, and 19 of his victories coming by way of knockout. De Cebu, las Filipinas, Rodel Mayol. Y en la esquina opuesta, en the opposite corner, vestido de color dorado con el tricolor boricua de rojo, azul y blanco. He steps into the ring wearing gold trunks, trimmed in the colors of Puerto Rico, red, white, and blue. Su peso oficial, 107 libras y media. His official weight, 107 1/2 pounds. Entra al cuadrilátero con un récord invicto de 32 victorias, un empate y 6 de sus victorias por la vía del knockout. He enters the ring with an undefeated record.
Said he's going to try and make himself smaller. Remember, he's only 5 feet tall, and when he bends over, it's a difficult target for Mayol. Look at the, windmill sort of punches already that Mayol has missed here in round number 1. That's the defense of Calderon.
And the part of Mayol, what he did was looked at those tapes against Cáceres when Ivan Calderon fought him and said, that's the kind of fight I need to make against him. But I really feel that if I hit him with my good shot, he's not going to be able to take it. So we'll see if that plays itself out in Rodel Calderon. Again, he's going to be the slick one.
Well, you talk about the slickness of Calderon, and he is slick, but Mayol is mighty slick himself. He's got a little bit of reach advantage, and he's trying to use that. And so far, Calderon's jab has been short. He was wild with the left hand, and then wild with the right hand, and then he had to hang on. And Luis Pabon, the very excellent referee here, has to separate the two.
And look, you get to see right there, typical Calderon. Hit and get out, hit and get out.
A hit and grab in this case. I mean, 2 minutes have gone. Who's won this round? Very difficult to score this so far, as was the first fight. Carlos Colon of Puerto Rico, Dr. Ruben Garcia of Texas, and Julie Letterman of New York, all excellent judges.
32 victories, 1 draw, and 6 of his victories coming by way of knockout. El campeón mundial peso mini mosca de la OMB, the WBO light flyweight champion of the world, de Guaynabo, Puerto Rico, el Iron Boy, Ivan Calderon.
All right, so referee Luis Pabon of Puerto Rico has to get this ring cleared out. Freddie Roach, we mentioned, did a lot to do with the training of Mayol, but he's not here.
He's got
the training of Mayol, but he's not here.
He's got a full team, though. Jesse Arevalo, Jeremiah Quijano, Rene Espiroto, and of course his manager, Prima Encarnacion.
All right, so we're set to go with the main event of the evening from the Coliseo de Puerto Rico in San Juan. The Colonel Bob Sheridan here with Benny Ricardo, our principals, defending his WBO light flyweight championship of the world at 108 pounds.